Hey everyone, today we're breaking down how to choose the right self-service kiosk for your micromarket, what works where, and why it matters. Ready? Let's go. Oh, hey Russ. How's it going? How you doing today?
Anders, welcome back. I'm going to let you do this one. I don't always do a great job of letting you talk because I like to talk a lot. So I'm going to let you kick us off today.
Well, I was just wondering, how do you think the podcast retool has gone so far? We've had some wildly different episodes than we've done in the past.
It's been more, I don't want to say more fun because I don't want to say anything about last season and everything, but it's been unique. Let's say that. We started off with the pod plug and vape vending machines. Then I think it was donuts. We've got, we've been all over the place, but that was the goal, right? It was to talk about unique ways of unattended retail. So like I said, I think it's been fun. I think we've had good guests. I think based off what I know, you've got a lot more good guests coming up. So, I've had a lot of fun.
Excellent. I mean, yeah, today's going to be a little bit more of a back to a more technical episode like we had a lot last season, but we're still going to mix in a lot of those interviews coming up here too. So today we're thinking about
kiosks. Come on,
kiosks.
Choosing the right kiosk, Connors.
But which one goes where? So I've seen personally. My brother just told me that his company XL Energy, which is huge in Minnesota here, just got a canteen market in their main HQ downtown, and he said it's pretty awesome. Loves the look of it. But that's kind of more of a regular use case. You see a lot of office buildings going on.
Yeah, it's definitely gotten unique in like the places they're popping up, and I mean honestly, that's because kiosks have gotten cheaper. Kiosks have gotten smaller. 12, 15 years ago, they were large and expensive. And so they've, just like any technology, they've gotten smaller and gotten less expensive. And so it's opened up a whole new world for operators. And I know we'll dive into that today. We talked about it a little bit last season as well. But I think it's going to be fun. I'm not going to answer this question yet. I'm going to answer it at the very end because I'm going to think about it of like, where's the most unique place I think I've had an operator put a market or a kiosk or anything else. We got a couple other people that we'll introduce here in a second. They could definitely chime in on that. But yeah, it's definitely popping up. And you said your brother liked their market. I don't think I've ever heard of like end customers ever not liking a market. Like it would be weird if they didn't. I mean, maybe that's my own opinion, but I'm just saying it'd be weird if they didn't like it. But no. I mean, and kind of like we stumbled through in the beginning, but finding and choosing the right kiosk for a specific location, that's what we're going to focus on. And operators have continued to expand micro markets a lot of different directions, like we've talked about. Some unique, some not that unique, but maybe you didn't ever think about them before. Whether it's gyms, apartments, lobbies of office buildings, but maybe lobbies of hotels and different things like that. Car dealerships. I know I talked about it last season. I came from the car business world. It's a passion of mine. I always say, why don't we have micro markets? We have the 2 vending machines and we can't even get real food. My dealership grew back in Texas. They all have markets now. They absolutely love them. But yeah, we're just going to break down what we look at and going through our kiosk lineup and how do you choose that right kiosk for the particular location and which one's suited for it best. So with that, I'm going to introduce our guests. First of all, we have Dave Little. He was on if you listened last season, he was on 2 episodes, Dave? Were you on 2 episodes?
A couple of them, yeah.
Yeah, he's back. He's back again. The people liked him enough.
Right.
But I'll let Dave give a quick intro for himself.
Yeah, so I just to introduce myself, as Russ said, Dave Little. I was with a company called 3 Square Market, along with Rachel that you're going to introduce here pretty quick. Cantaloupe acquired 3 Square Market, 2.5 years ago now. And I've covered the West Coast. I've covered really all over the place. Been selling micro markets in general for the last 10 years. So seen a lot of different places they've gone into, some that have worked, some that have not. So just a quick intro on myself.
I don't ever want to be rude. I know we've talked about this many, many times, but so basically what you're saying is when I was talking about they were like really big and really expensive, you were there. You were there in the beginning.
We were there. They were ugly. They looked like a mailbox. I was through it all. Absolutely.
And you've lived to see kiosks that are like this big now. It's crazy.
Correct. Yeah, they've gone down to we're going to introduce a couple of them on this episode that do the job of the big monsters, right? So,
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, thanks, Dave. And again, welcome back. We'll jump to Rachel. Rachel is the senior product manager for the Cantaloupe Go side of things, which means kiosks, micro markets, and different things like that. So, Rachel, if you want to give a quick introduction.
So, yeah, my name is Rachel Offland. I am the senior product manager for the Cantaloupe Go product line, which is all things micro markets. I've been working in the micro market industry for about 7 years now. And what I do within the company is really just kind of focus on driving our product to make it better, figure out where our kiosks need to be placed, making sure that we have features and functionality that support that.
So basically, you're the one that just continues to make the kiosk smaller so they can go anywhere. That's basically what you're saying.
Yes.
Very nice. Well, thanks, Rachel. I know we're going to have fun chatting about everything. And then last but not least, Brian Hilton. Brian is the hold on, I knew I was going to mess this up. The product marketing manager for Cantaloupe. He's the guy that makes all the pretty content and materials and things for us sales guys to use, so we can tell operators about all of our products and stuff. So definitely couldn't do it without him. And there are definitely times when I slack Brian and I'm like, hey, Brian, I know it's late. Can you turn this around right now for me? And pretty much always does. Even though we're in a 3-hour time difference, he always comes through for me. But Brian, if you want to give a quick intro.
Yeah. Thanks, Russ. As Russ mentioned, I've been here at Cantaloupe for about 3 years. I actually started my career at NBC Sports Philadelphia doing marketing for them. So I've been in a lot of different industries. But as Russ mentioned, I really enjoy collaborating with the sales team on go-to-market strategies, email campaigns, sales sheets, really anything that our customers might see in their hands at trade shows or things like that. Myself and the rest of our marketing team, we like collaborating with you guys on it. So, pumped to, this is my podcast debut. So I'm excited to be graced with all of your presence on this podcast. So, yeah.
Well, we're excited to have you, Brian. And again, thank you for being able to communicate what all of our products do, which means you do have to be a product expert as well. But I mean, with that, we've introed everybody. Let's just go ahead and jump in. And honestly, I'm going to kick this over to Rachel. You're the one that manages this product line and continues to evolve it and develop it. Just kind of quickly running through, Rachel. I know we have 4 main kiosks. One that's going to be brand new, debuting at NAMA. You want to just give us a rundown of the kiosk lineup that we have?
Super excited to talk about what Cantaloupe Go kiosks we have to offer in our product line. Over the course of the past couple of years, we've really focused on revamping the look and the feel of our product. So right now we got some nice white, sleek kiosks. I think I'm going to start with our newest model, which is actually our smallest model, and then I'll kind of work my way up into our larger models. So first off, excited to introduce our Go Micro, which is probably our most compact kiosk. It's a small scan, pay, and go kiosk. Very, very versatile, easy to place, with just like our standard payment methods built into it. So we have tap, as well as market account payment options that are built into that. This kiosk is cashless.
It's about the size of it's a little bigger than a cell phone, wouldn't you say, Rachel? Like in terms of screen size and everything else?
Yeah, the credit card reader itself is a little bit larger than a cell phone. And then the kiosk itself is probably just over a foot tall.
Super small footprint.
Yes, very small footprint. So super versatile, can go really anywhere that you want. And we have 2 options for the Go Micro. One of them is going to be that standard kiosk mount, but we also have a cooler mounted option for the Go Micro 2.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are excited about that one just because you can, in terms of market's getting smaller, you can throw a cooler with a Go Micro on it and then a snack rack next to it, and you've taken up less than 6 feet, and you've got technically a mini micro market. So I'd say I'm excited for that one, just from the sales side.
Yeah, and I think we have the Cooler Cafe, which isn't one of our standard like kiosks, but a product offering. Very easily, we can retrofit a barcode scanner onto our Cooler Cafes and turn one of those coolers into a Go micro market. Add another slat wall next to it to expand your product offerings. I think that's a really great selling point for this product as well.
Nice. Russ and I are excited. We want to hear all this, right?
Yeah. No, probably one of the more exciting things that have come through recently is a new kiosk offering for Cantaloupe.
Yes.
One of the things too that sets it apart is the price point. And I think in terms of you guys with your customers talking about ROI, I know we've heard that from several early adopters that it helps accelerate the ROI on a market quite a bit because of the price point and because of the versatility, whether it's someone starting their first market or adding a second checkout location to a busy sort of
100%.
Yeah.
That was always a drawback, and Rachel can say this too. The guys that are converting over from their one vending machine, they want to try markets, but they couldn't afford $5,000 for a kiosk before. Now they can, right? So now they can start up, like you said, Brian, with a low cost startup cost to get them into markets, get the feel for it, and expand from there.
Now, as much as we would love for every operator to buy coolers and fixtures and the whole shebang from us, that isn't always the case. And I mean, and the reality of it is, Dave, I joked about it earlier, back in the day when they were large and expensive, I mean, a market between the kiosk and everything else could have cost you $15,000, $20,000.
100%.
Again, not utilizing all the different stuff. I mean, if you're using the free coolers from Pepsi and Coke, you're getting the free snack racks from Frito-Lay. I mean, theoretically, with the Go Micro now, an operator could essentially put a market in for under $1,000. I mean, that's a very low cost investment. I mean, obviously, a lot cheaper than a vending machine. I'm excited to see where everything goes with the Go Micro for sure.
I agree.
Sorry, Rachel, we got excited. You can continue to talk about the other kiosks too. We got to give the other kiosks love as well.
Exactly.
Give them a fair shake, yeah. No, the Go Micro definitely really exciting, very versatile. So next I'm going to move into our just a step larger from the Go Micro, and that's going to be our Go MiniX. It's about a 15-inch screen, and this is another cashless model. It does have the option for fingerprint scanning or like fingerprint login, so that's a very quick and easy way for users to be able to utilize their market funds. It has some more robust features for its product offering as well. Around just like revenue growing features, you can utilize coupons and things of that nature on the Go MiniX. Very similar to the Go Micro, it has a very small form factor as well. So it's probably just about 1.5 feet high, foot wide. So you can really fit that in a lot of different areas.
And just in your opinion, Rachel, obviously, I mean, I'm a fan of the Go MiniX. I have one that I travel with. I like to think that I'm probably the best in all of Cantaloupe at taking it apart and putting it back together in a hotel room because I travel with it. I travel with it in a carry-on. But I'm a big fan of it. One thing that I've kind of thought about as the Go Micros come around, in your opinion, Rachel, you all were kind of behind the product design. What would you say the biggest difference is between the Go Micro and the Go MiniX, and like when an operator might choose to use the Go MiniX versus the Go Micro?
Yeah, great question. So I think that a Go MiniX is primarily going to be utilized when locations are encouraging market accounts. I highly encourage market accounts at any location, just in general, and that's because as soon as people put funds onto their market account, there's a much higher likelihood that they're going to continuously top off those funds. It also is increasing how much they're spending, like on the ticket size as well, by utilizing that. The Go Micro, you do have to scan a badge. You don't have the ability to necessarily like sign in with your like a fingerprint as easily on the Go Micro. So I think that the biggest difference there is going to be is the location utilizing market accounts, or is the location really just trying to streamline that scan, pay, and go process? And the Go Micro really capitalizes on that scan, pay, and go, like just getting people through the line.
Very nice. Yeah, that was actually, I mean, that question popped up as you're talking, because, obviously I've known about all these, but I hadn't actually thought through that one. Yeah, I'll let you keep going. And obviously some people still want to take cash. So what do they do, Rachel, if they want to take cash?
Yeah, so the next kiosk up in size is going to be our Go Plus 100, and that is our first cash acceptance kiosk that we have within our product line. We have actually two models of the Go Plus 100. One we call our Go Plus 100B, which is going to have a bill acceptor, so that has cash acceptance. And then we also have a little bit smaller version of that, which is our Go Plus 100C, which is our cashless model. So again, this is the screen size is going to be the same as the Go MiniX. I think it's a little bit more of an eye-catching kiosk. So you're going to be able to sell this a little bit better to some of those locations that really are caring about what their micro market is going to look like. I think, Dave, you'll kind of touch on what aesthetics our kiosks have and how that pairs well with locations a little bit later on. But that is kind of the main difference between the B and C model, is the fact that one accepts cash, one is cashless. And it's kind of a little bit larger. You can utilize some more or additional features on the Go Plus 100 as well.
So the physical appearance, though, the height of the kiosk is a little bit bigger on the Go Plus 100 as opposed to the MiniX, for sure. It just fills in some more space, is what it does.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely a little bit larger there. Still fairly small form factor, though. I really think that like all of our kiosks, they are a small form factor. Allows you like the versatility of putting it wherever you need to within the market, as well as stock products in comparison to those mailbox kiosks that you were talking about before, Dave.
Right. Yeah, 100%.
Definitely a lot better options there.
And even though we did talk about how kiosks are getting smaller, you do have to talk about the big boy, though. Now you got to talk about the big boy. Even though we said they're getting smaller, there's still a big kiosk, but it's for a reason, right?
Yes, for sure. We have our Go Max, which is definitely our largest kiosk. It's about 2.5 feet wide, so 43-inch screen. Really, probably one of our most eye-catching kiosks that we have out there. This is great for like our larger locations, also locations that really want to have that like eye-catching like feel and a very impressive view to the customers when they're like utilizing it. I think that it probably is one of the kiosks that uses our features our like revenue generating features to the best of its ability. Being able to utilize campaigns to promote different deals that are going on in a market, or promoting something for the location where the kiosk is actually located, are some of the things that really set the Go Max apart. Additionally, this is ADA compliant, and it is full of audio accessibility as well.
It's the wow factor. It's the wow factor.
I was about to say that. Dave taught me that line. It's the wow factor. You wanted a hospital, nice apartment complex, like different things like that. And then Dave, you do a lot of work with the BEP. Can you kind of dive in just a little bit more? We don't have a ton of time, but just all what Rachel said about ADA.
Rachel had said ADA compliant. It It has a headphone jack on it, bill acceptor. It talks to you. There's a button down at the bottom. It has a double tap swipe left to right, which a blind operator is used to using on their phones. It's the same features on that kiosk. Again, it's the bigger screen, so somebody with low visual can actually see that screen a lot better than our micro kiosk, right? So we've seen a lot of them go in over the years, and it's perfect for the blind community, as well as like I said, the wow factor. If you want a kiosk to stand out in a corporate setting, a warehouse, an apartment building, something like that, that's what it's for. It's what it's designed for. I think that, Rachel, if I remember right, the very first ones went in a BEP location in Alaska is where they originally went in.
Right.
So, yep, absolutely.
And Dave, you didn't touch on my favorite part, because you didn't touch on my favorite part.
Okay.
Because it is the only fully ADA compliant kiosk on the market, because it is a vertical 43-inch screen. There's the button that shrinks the entire screen, where all four corners are accessible from a wheelchair height. So the one thing that I say about that is, if you're an operator and you're trying to go after those government accounts or different state organizations or agencies and things like that, when you do those RFPs, there's a box that says ADA compliant, and without the Go Max, you can't actually check that box during that RFP. And I know some specific people that have won RFPs because of that reason, which is super cool as well.
We in that you brought it up, we actually won an apartment building in Los Angeles because there were a couple of residents that were in wheelchairs, and they complained that they couldn't get to the kiosk to pay. We brought this in, and they absolutely won 2 locations because of it. Absolutely. Good point, Russ. That's why you're here. That's why we allow you to be here.
I try. I talk a lot, so Cantaloupe lets me do this. It's fun. Well, Rachel, I appreciate. Oh, go ahead, Brian.
The question though, because don't the Go Plus 100 and the Go MiniX also have some of those accessibility features as well? Maybe not as much as the Go Max, but
correct. The MiniX and the 100 have the accessibility features in terms of audio and everything else. They don't really have to shrink the screen down because they're sitting on a counter anyways, but they do have the other accessibility features as well.
So, Brian, I think what you're thinking and what we're talking about between the Max and the other kiosks is you have to build a counter height to change the height of the kiosk, where the Go Max, you just bring it in as is and the screen drops. Yeah.
And 48 inches is the requirement for ADA.
Correct.
So you can reach the wheelchair. And
everything drops below 48.
Our other kiosks don't necessarily have that functionality at a standard counter height.
Right.
Yeah. Well, Rachel, I appreciate you walking us and all listeners through the lineup and everything. But moving right along, I'm laughing because I just can't get this out of my head, and I can't remember what movie it's from, but location. Location is key for anything, but especially with micro markets. But it is kind of cool when you think about location. When the micro markets first came out, because they were expensive and you needed to get your ROI and everything. I mean, you had to. I don't know, Dave. You give me your opinion. What was it? You have to have at least 250 people at a location for it to make sense.
For sure. Back 10 years ago, you would look for 250, 300 people just to be able to put a micro market in and to make it work, right? And now, I mean, with the micro kiosk, with the costs that come down, I mean, you can easily go into, you've got a 30, 50 person location and you're still good. Yeah, it's taking the place of a vending machine or whatever. Yep.
I'm really curious to see, in terms of employee or person count, how small that gets with a Go Micro. Is it going to be 25? Is it going to be 20? I'm curious. I'm excited to see the data there.
I honestly can see it. Rachel talked about the single cooler, and you did with a small slat wall. I mean, I bet we can go into offices that have 15, 20 people and still be just fine with it, right? I mean, they're putting $8,000 vending machines in there. We can go in there much cheaper than that with this. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think that the low hanging fruit, as we call it, you've most locations, you're not going to put just a drink machine or just a snack machine. You probably got a drink and a snack next to each other. And when you go look at your data and see how they're doing, I mean, in the same space, if not less, you can put a Go Micro on a cooler and a slat wall next to it. And now you're selling food, which people want. It's higher priced items. And in that same, for a limited investment in the same amount of space, same account, you're increasing revenues just because of the product selection that you couldn't previously offer. So I'm excited about that.
Or even Russ, where there was where you had a large micro market downstairs and maybe you've got some corporate executives upstairs. Now we've got a solution for that because, they were always asking for a second market, but the number of people weren't there, right?
Yeah, they don't want to walk downstairs.
They don't want to walk downstairs.
Come on.
Now we can put it a small tabletop counter with a few snacks on it, a cooler with a few sandwiches in it, and a small micro, and we're set.
Yeah, they're good. They're good to go. And just talking about location, the thing that really comes to like thinking outside the box, which I know you and I have had a lot of fun with.
We have.
And I am going to say a line here, and I'm just going to be open and honest with everybody. I didn't come up with it. Our wonderful producer, Anders, did. Thinking outside the office instead of thinking outside the box, thinking outside the office. And that's really what we want operators to do. And one thing that I know me and you both encourage operators all the time. Brian puts out great pieces of content for us to share with operators to get that kind of thinking and mindset. But I think a good way to do it. So let's just jump into the kiosk specifically and kind of talk about the proper, or, there's not exactly a right location, but what would probably be the best type of location for that. And I'll let you jump in first. The Go Micro, where do you, it's launching right now. Where do you think you're going to see the most of them go, at least right off the bat?
Yeah, I mean, we've already seen a few of them go in, right? So we're starting to see them go into some of those smaller first-time accounts that people are putting them in. The smaller locations, by far, I think we're going to see a ton of those go in. We used to have we called it a mini mart with a very small kiosk. Rachel will remember this one. It was a small slat wall with a cooler next to it. This is going to take the place of that. I mean, we sold a ton of those at one point. And what that was for is we had locations where they maybe had one vending machine. That's the only space they had. And now we're going to be able to put those micros in. I think it's going to be awesome. I think we're going to see a lot of numbers of them move out for sure.
Yeah, I think that's where we're going to see the most. At least talking from operators, a lot of it's going to be,
the startups.
Yeah, I think you'll see some operators that haven't done markets before, right? They've been nervous for whatever reason, whether it's theft or cost. A lot of it's going to be cost, and so it's a great kind of entry level kiosk for them to not put out a lot of capital and try something. But also, just because I've actually already had some operators do this, is I think, in my personal opinion, my crystal ball is saying that it's going to be replacing those traditional vending accounts. You got a glass front and a snack. Okay, it's a pretty good account, right? It does X amount a month. You go look at your data, and it's like, we're going to have, I think we have some, but we're going to have Brian do some amazing work and put together and some nice little content that the operator could take in and say, hey, y'all are a great customer of ours. We've done your stuff for 10 years. But what do you think about this? And we're going to take the vending machines out. This is going to look better. You're going to get more options. We got to come up with a good term for that. Like the vending machine market upgrade. We got to coin a new term. But I personally think that that's going to be the biggest, at least in the beginning. I think the operators are going to go gangbusters with that, because you just don't have that cost, that cost barrier and everything anymore. You can go do it and take the risk at an account that you couldn't before just because it costs.
Right.
Worried about ROI.
And then just the option of the quick scan and go. I mean, there's a lot of people that they don't want to take the time to open a market account, right? They have their card. They're there. Maybe it's a temporary worker for the week, right? They're just going to scan and go. And I agree with you, Russ. We're going to see a lot of those locations pop up.
And then jump to the Go MiniX, which it's going to be hard for me because that's like that's my favorite. That's my favorite little guy. I carry, like you said, we both have one. We travel with it, but the Go Micro is going to give it a run for its money. But I think the Go MiniX still has a great purpose, because
it does.
I think a lot of it comes down to screen size, right? The Go Micro is intended to be small, and it's. I was joking with I was thinking about it when I asked Rachel about the size of a cell phone, and she's like, a little bit bigger. And I was like, yeah, iPhone Pro Max. It's the max. But the Go MiniX, you're going from, cell phone screen to a 15-inch screen. You just get that visual appeal. It's a real kiosk. It's the same size, if not a little bigger, than people use at Target or whatever. And so I think for that purpose specifically, it's going to still have a great fit for, kind of medium traffic locations, or even just places that, customers don't want or operators don't want to accept cash. And then, like Rachel had touched on, all the features and different things.
I think the feature part is important, and also the MiniX is going to stay. We're going to still see them going into, our buddy Murphy's working on apartments and that. That kiosk is perfect for that app, that application, the apartments and the gyms. We've got an operator that does a number of gyms. That MiniX has been a go-to for him. Perfect size. He's able to put it in a checkout fixture and still have space next to it to put products, right? Instead of the clunky ones, right? But I think the MiniX is going to stay around for sure.
Yeah, and then jump into the Go Plus 100, which, honestly, regardless of whichever model style you go with, I mean, it's the workhorse, right? It's the traditional. It's going to go in your traditional locations, your break rooms, your mid to large size markets. Obviously, Rachel talked about the C. It's a little, slightly smaller, doesn't have the bill acceptor, but for the most part, you get the Go Plus 100 because it takes cash, right? As much as we've seen cashless really dominate everywhere, especially in our industry, cash is still very, very real in a lot of locations, especially if you're going into some of these, blue collar manufacturing facilities or different things like that. So the option still has to be there for operators. And I mean, we talk about location. Go Plus 100 is just your standard micro market. You're not really thinking outside the office with the Go Plus 100. That's where it goes, in my personal opinion.
Well, and it's. We've designed it a little sleeker now than they used
Definitely
to be,
looks better.
and
Definitely
it looks much better. At least that's the feedback we've gotten so far, and I think you're right. I think the typical locations is where it's going to end up at. Yes.
Yeah, great job to Rachel and her team on the redesign.
Yeah, absolutely,
it looks a lot sleeker.
Nice job, Rachel.
And then Dave, I'm gonna just hand this over to you with the Go Max. I mean, I've definitely put plenty out there, but definitely not as much as you.
Yeah.
Where does the Go Max go? Where do you just bite the bullet and you say, dude, we're putting in a Go Max?
Yeah, the Go Max is for your public locations, without a doubt, where you're putting, for instance, like we talked about the BEP locations, most of those locations are public courtrooms, public buildings, apartments, apartment managers looking for, a Go wow factor. We've got some, I live in Arizona near Scottsdale, and, the wow factor is very much, part of the atmosphere. So this big screen, you walk in, you see it, it's like a wow factor, right? So, but yeah, we've definitely with, the added features for the BEP, that's been a strong standpoint, but, we've the courthouses, the main buildings downtown. I mean, it's just it's a good looking kiosk. It comes as a fixture. You've got shelving below it, a lot of products around it. It's like I said, it's just a wow. I've got some that are going into airports. So it's like the public locations is where you're going to see most of those. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I've seen Go Max plenty of times, but every time, I will say this: every time I go to a trade show or whatever, we have one set up. I always just kind of look at it for a minute. I'm like, wow, like that thing's. I send people emails and pictures of it all the time, and when you get it in person, you're like, man, that thing really is bigger than I remember the last time I saw it.
Yeah, and nobody else has anything like that. No other manufacturer has it. It's just like it's a wow factor. It's Cantaloupe's. Showcase piece, right? Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, we always have to have it at the booth for sure.
We do.
Well, to move on to kind of speed things up, because when you get anytime I have one of the guests on the show, like I talk a lot, so I worry, and they talk a lot. I worry about like the timing and stuff. You get like Cantaloupe people together, and we're usually gonna drag on a little bit, but kind of like to not necessarily wrap up, but kind of take us home. It is like kind of real world examples, real world use cases. And Dave, I know you and I especially can share operator stories, but I'm going to kick it to Brian for a minute because it's literally Brian's job, and he does a dang good job at it, is he has to listen to all of his salespeople say all these random things and talk about, well, my operator did this and he did this crazy thing and placed it here, and this is how great it went and everything else. And then he gets to reach out to those operators, talk to them, and write case studies and put the actual story together. So Brian, with that, like, is there anything that you could think of? You know, you've done quite a bit of case studies with some of our operators recently. Is there one that just jumps out at you right now that you can think of that just was, you know, a successful kiosk placement, kind of a unique location, and that you could tell that they were getting their ROI quickly?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a specific one. I've heard a lot. Again, the Go Micro has been on the top of my mind because that's been mostly what I've worked on over the past couple of weeks.
You're about to get to have fun with those, I'm sure.
Yes.
yeah, it's already been a blast. Yeah. I think, as you guys have already mentioned, but these really small sort of just 1-2 foot slat wall, a cooler, and the kiosk. We've seen a lot of interest in that. And of course, that's probably, to my knowledge, our lowest price point on a market. So you guys have already covered it, but I think we've heard of that with some of our early adopters being successful. Again, trying to think of some of the specific, iterations of that. But the Go Micro in that small market setting that can really go in a variety of different locations, whether it's a YMCA that's restricted on space, and a small corporate office building, you name it. I'm excited to see those continue to, again, replace potentially previous vending machine, deals. So, I made one.
I was going to say, I know that we've added a couple of gym locations. We've got one operator that has put a number of using our MiniX and previous our old style Go Plus 100s, right? And he's put a couple of the micros already in the gym locations, and they love them because of the space, right? So.
Yeah, and I know, Brian, I can already tell you a project you're going to be working on in the nearer future.
You keep signing me up for more stuff.
Don't be good
to it because you're doing it on the podcast. Too.
Yeah, don't be good at your job, Brian. Don't be good at your job, and we won't throw you things. No, because when Dave was with me on that journey, when early in my time at Cantaloupe, and the auto dealerships, right? That's where I came from. And I was like, why don't we do this? And you did a great job getting us a lot of content and spec sheets and things like that to share with operators. And that's continued to be extremely successful. And I mean, there are dealerships, Dave, I know we know of a couple that have Go Maxes in them, not as many, but there's some that have them, some that want to take cash. But I think the Go Micro is really going to take off there specifically. That's actually where my first operator that had a place to Go Micro did. I mean, he had a glass front and a snack like every dealership in the country. And he went to them and said, hey, let's do this. And they said, all right. And I don't think I've ever had a dealership tell me no. And it just gives, and so I gave him a hard time because he did it the cheap way, which was totally fine because it's minimizing that investment. And he used the free coolers that he has, and he used the free snack racks that he has. And for basically less than $1,000, he took a 2 vending machine account and he put a micro market in, and a decent size one at that, 2 coolers and, I think 4 foot of snack. And now he's got the Go Micro there. And I think he's seen about a 2.5x at least increase in sales. I think it's been there about 4 or 5 weeks. We've already seen that. And of course, Dave, we know you get one dealership, you get them all in a group, and they're starting to come back. Hey, can we do this? And so his entire strategy is in his area. Is going to be to go after all the dealerships that he already has vending at, upgrade them to markets with the Go Micro, and then do the same thing and approach other dealerships. So Brian, I'll keep you updated on that one, but we're gonna have some good case study stories on that.
Well,
Yeah.
add to that, Russ, Russ and I did a little road trip one week. We literally hit what was it, four or five major cities in like 4 days, right?
We went San Antonio, like half a day,
Houston.
Houston a day, up to Fort Worth and Dallas over a day and a half. I think
great.
we visited 17 or 18 dealerships.
In 4 days. And so what I see that as, Russ, is the main market. Again, we go back to the big market downstairs, and then you've got the parts department. You've got title, the lady over in title, and there's 5 or 6 people in there. I can see these little shoots coming up with the micro, without a doubt. So, and they can afford to do that now, right? Where they weren't going to put five to 10 grand in a kiosk to add those extra positions, and now we have something that they can do that with.
Absolutely. Now this, and Dave, I'm going to ask you this question because you're the most seasoned and experienced person on the call. Okay. Give an example of like a mistake, a misplacement, if you will, an environment that probably shouldn't have had a market, or maybe it could have done a market, but they did the wrong kiosk, and it didn't work out, because sometimes that does happen. We don't ever want it to, but it does happen. So do you have any examples of that?
Yeah, for sure. And I can think of one, right here. I live in the Phoenix area. When we first started looking at, again, apartments and things like that, there's different places that you put markets. You think they're going to do well. You don't know until you try, right? So there's different locations that you would put. We put a market in it was a downtown location. It was lower income housing, and it absolutely did not work. There was a lot of theft. The kiosk itself was getting broke into. It was a cash kiosk. They were breaking in just to get the cash, right? So you do have to be picky of where you're putting that micro market. I think with the locked cooler situations and things, the other products that have come out recent, I know there's going to be another episode on smart coolers, but those smart coolers, now we can put those in those locations, so we have all our bases covered, right? So, yeah. But definitely that one comes to mind. We've had some operators that have tried to put them in where they had like a gas station or something. We had one guy put a market in, and it just wasn't the right fit, right? So he went back to vending again. So that particular spot stands out to me the most, because there was the theft, and literally, you get a market wiped out 2 or 3 times and you're done, right? You're going back.
Yeah, you're over it.
But that one stands out to me the most, I guess.
And to completely flip it and switch gears, for the most part, to bring us home, this is where you get your crystal ball out, Dave.
Right.
We're going to come back. We're going to come back next May, and we're going to see if me or you're right. But also Brian and Rachel, we're all going to give our 2 cents.
There you go.
So, Rachel, you work on these kiosks. You design them for particular environments. You only get one though. So if you had to guess, in terms of the next 12 months, what's going to be kind of the most emerging space, thinking outside the office, not a traditional break room setting, what's going to be the most popular kind of new trend of where to put a kiosk? Maybe it's the Go Micro, maybe it's not, but what do you think?
Yeah, so coming up in the next 12 months, I think that where we're really going to see micro markets take off is in gyms. So Dave kind of touched on this a little bit earlier. Yeah. But gyms, they have regular people that are coming. Again, I'm going to hype up those market accounts. People are interested in potentially making market accounts at gym locations. We've seen a couple gym locations already really take off. Whenever I go to the gym, we have a monthly challenge, and you can utilize some of our revenue boosting features at gyms by giving out a voucher or a meal card, some type of incentive to utilize the micro market. A lot of times people are getting consistent products at gyms, so we have great options for BOGO deals. So I guess that's not necessarily, kiosk specific, but I really think that any of our kiosks could go well in different styles of gyms.
Without a doubt.
And that's kind of where I think we're going to be taking off.
I like it. Yeah, hey, you sign up for a membership, you get $25 at the market. Woo-hoo.
Exactly.
And all right, Brian.
Protein powder.
Yeah, and from an operator's perspective, higher ticket items, and the gym doesn't have to deal with it. But Brian has made us all kinds of great content that we can share with you if you want more information on why you should put it in the gym. But Brian, your prediction?
Yeah, I definitely think gyms as well, but I'm going to go residential for a couple reasons. So I know Dave and I spent some time at the Apartmentalize show last year.
Absolutely.
And I think we were both blown away by the amount of interest that a lot of property managers, a lot of owners of apartment buildings and condominiums and things like that had. And we were we'd done them in the past, but it was a bit of a newer show for us, a bit of a newer space. We've had a year now. I know he's been mentioned earlier, but Murphy on our team, along with Braxton and Emily, have done a fantastic job sort of, merging into that space. And I think, as Rachel discussed, the, revamped kiosk, whether it's the Go Plus 100 design, whether it's the Go Micro, I think a lot of locations in that, industry, the residential spaces, are looking for an aesthetic. And I think our new revamped designs are really meeting that need. So as we continue to see, our team expand and our team, get into that space, along with our new design of our kiosks, I'm excited to see how, residential areas see micro markets really help improve their value to residents and et cetera. So yeah, I'd go residential.
That's absolutely.
I like it. That means Dave can't say residential, and that's his baby. So
I know.
I'm really excited to see what Dave can say.
I love residential without a doubt. So no, it's in the gyms. I agree 100% with both Rachel and Brian on both of those. I'm going to throw one out there, Russ. Just thinking. I talked to an operator. This was probably 4 or 5 years ago about this, but with this micro and even the minis. I think you're going to start seeing a few more mobile markets. And what I say with that is, we talked about we've got an operator up in Alaska that talked about the Iditarod. What if they could have a mobile market? They pull in for the event for the day, or you've got your kids' baseball tournament for a long weekend. You literally wheel in with a mobile market. I think you're going to start seeing that with the size of kiosk and the the functions that they have. I think you're going to start seeing some of that. I think I think there are some of those out there right now that some of the operators are building. But definitely gyms, residential is close to my heart by all means. Car dealerships. I probably stole that one away from you, Russ. But,
I've got to take a different approach at it.
But I think all of those. And again, I have to kind of lean with Brian on the residential. I think residential is going to do nothing but skyrocket. And we're not talking about just apartment buildings. We're talking about assisted living locations, hospital type atmospheres. I mean, student living. Again, smart stores and markets are gonna take off without a doubt. But I wanted to throw that mobile market in.
I'm so happy you did, because it's just unique. It's thinking outside the office. It's coming in.
I do think that's coming about. I know there's a guy down in the southeastern part of the United States that's doing a drive-through unattended retail. You drive up and there's nobody that works there, right?
Yeah, I've seen that.
It's kind of an outside.
I've seen it before.
I've talked to that guy, and it's very interesting what he's doing. So that's kind of my mobile market approach as well.
Well, I just appreciate you just throwing one kind of out of left field on us, because I'm gonna cop out, and I didn't want to say dealerships, but I'm taking a new approach at it, because dealerships have been my baby. But I think the Go Micro changes things. It's because that footprint, that cost of entry, it just eliminates so many things. Honestly, from the operator side, I've never personally walked into a dealership and tried to get, with an operator and tried to sell them on a market and been told no. I literally don't think I've ever been told no at a dealership because it just makes sense for them, right? Their customers are waiting their long hours. I was a sales guy. Salespeople aren't supposed to leave. Technicians really aren't supposed to leave. Like everything just makes sense for a dealership, but then there's that cost, right? Do I want to take that risk? And now with the Go Micro, I think, I made some bold claims a couple summers ago when I told the Cantaloupe executive team that I'm going to sell dealership markets, and we've done good with it, and we've seen that grow pretty well. But I think we're going to see a spike. I really do, because of the Go Micro specifically. Again, it just opens up a whole new world, and I'm going to be excited. And so now we got to come back next, May 2026. We're gonna come back.
See where we're at.
We're gonna watch this episode. We're gonna see who won. But with that, I do know, it's a little longer episode, so thanks for staying with us and listening, but, a lot of great insights. Brian, Dave, Rachel, I know me and others really appreciate y'all have taking the time to jump on with us and discuss stuff. I know this is literally what we do for a living. But it's fun to just, get in a little bit different environment and mindset to talk about it. And for everybody listening, we talked about our lineup, the new Go Micro, the Go MiniX, the Go Plus 100, the Go Max, kind of a kiosk that fits in each situation or need. And again, it's location. And if you want to, learn more about the kiosk specifically and kind of what types of spaces you should put them in, of course, you can go to cantaloupe.com. We've got all kinds of details there. You can reach out to your Cantaloupe rep or anything. If you don't have one, go to the Cantaloupe website. I believe the little chat bot will pop up and they'll get you connected with one. You're good to go on there and see all the wonderful content that Brian creates to have on there and to be able to kind of let you know what our products are all about. So, but again, as always, we really appreciate you taking the time to listen to the Retail on the Go podcast. We'll be back again soon with some more probably unique episodes like we've had this season. So again, the best kiosk, it's really just the one that fits your needs, fits the space, fits your customers' needs, and we just look forward to talking to you again. Appreciate the time, guys. Thanks.
Great.